Welcome to I Wrote That, a podcast where we bring authors and industry experts together to talk about all things books and make the journey to authorship just a little bit easier. My name is Larissa Soehn, and I am the CEO of Next Page Publishing, a hybrid publishing house where we help entrepreneurs write books to grow their businesses. Now, I'm on a mission to help aspiring authors feel like they are in control of the publishing journey and that they are supported by a team of experts who genuinely want the best for them and their books. If you are in the very beginning of your journey, or maybe you have a manuscript that you're finished and you're not sure how to get it out into the world, I encourage you to reach out to us at nextpagepublishing.net. You can schedule your free discovery call and find out how our team of experts can make your journey to being a published author easy, smooth, and successful. Now, without further ado, let's get on to our next amazing guest and make your journey to authorship a little less complicated. Welcome to another episode of I Wrote That, where we bring in authors, aspiring authors, industry experts, and talk about all things books and what it takes to actually go from dreaming, which is where Elaine was when we met, to being a best-selling author, which is where she is now. My name is Larissa Soehn. I am your host, and I am the CEO of Next Page Publishing, the company, the powerhouse, the drive to push her forward and get her from dreaming into best-selling author. And today we're going to talk about all the goodies that went into her cookbook. So I have Elaine Cooper. She is your better living coach. She's the best-selling author of Cooking Through Chaos. She's a wellness warrior, a holistic chef, and an urban, she's going to test me here, aeroponic gardenologist. Your better living coach online and live group and individual group gardening and healthy living events were created from her experience in self-sufficiency, raising a young family on 200 acres. Then that would have been a fortune. Man, land is expensive nowadays, so good for you. Then reviving through loss and grief multiple times. I know this story. And downsizing into an urban community. Welcome, Elaine.
Thank you so much. I've really missed our weekly sessions, and thanks to you, I got her done.
I know it's tough because we go from, you and I met almost every week for 7 or 8 months. And then it's almost like we need a detox after the fact because it's so much more than just an author-publisher relationship. Like we went to Mexico together, like we're friends at this point. So I think you and I need to set up how do we wean off of each other, but still stay in each other's lives. But getting your book out was an honor of a journey to go on with you because you put so much time and energy into every facet of the book. Maybe just talk about kind of the feelings that, I mean, right from day one, you were crying in our sales calls. So that's always a win for me. If I can make someone cry, I'm happy. But why don't you just talk a little bit about the journey?
It was rather emotional because this project has been sitting on my shoulder for a lot of years, thinking that it would be all the recipes that generations of my family and friends really loved, but it was waiting for the right time. And honestly, you got to let the universe know that this is what you want to do, or if this is something that you want to do, because that wasn't the time for me to do it then. The time for me to do it was this winter, side by side with you, giving me that okay, I'll be nice. Nudge.
I believe we called it the boot in the ass. You don't have to be nice. It's okay.
In boot, stomp and kick in the butt to keep thing. But that momentum, yeah, I can't tell you how, in words, I can't tell anybody how important that was to me. Because not only was I writing the recipes, these are recipes that were scratched out on pieces of, Post-it notes or lined paper and just kind of stuffed in my drawers. But it wasn't until I needed to change my own lifestyle and did a year training with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition out of New York, because I really wanted to look into how I could improve my own health. And it was like a huge awakening. it was not easy. So writing this book is the culmination of that training. And that was 12 years ago already.
Wow.
Yeah, 12. But I'd saved recipes, from when I was a young newlywed. No, before I was a young newlywed, actually. My whole life. And my mom had done the same thing. And I discovered that when I had to clean out her house.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. But now that we have the internet, and that was rather a big question for me, was I just going to basically put it on the internet, which I had done, but there wasn't that personal connection. Because, yeah, I can throw a recipe out there, but, you really don't know what I've been through or that person's been through discovering or putting together the stories that are in there. And I was like, okay, do I combine stories with recipes? And you were just, yep, go ahead, let's do it. So some of those stories I rewrote, and a lot of them were off from blog writings that I had done for a few years. And again, not really feeling the warm and fuzzy because I didn't feel a connection with people out there. And you're supposed to feel a connection. It was really interesting because since the book has been officially launched this last week, and I was going to blog about that too. I had someone that has known me for a very long time. They used to live in the same hometown. And she said something, everything you do is a success. Well, what have I got to say about that? We don't tend to anyway. I don't tend to put out the mess out there. I don't put the chaos out there. I don't want that to be in someone else's energy. And with this book, it was really, oh boy, I'm putting out some of my story, and it's not all pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pretty. The first part of the book, it was okay. We were doing the sections, and we were getting the table of contents done and deciding what to put in there. And I had a lot of recipes already put together, but I was making each recipe as I went along. I was videoing each process with intentions for the future. It wasn't until I got toward the end and knowing that this was going to be out there and getting into more the generational sweet treats, because that was a huge part of our diet. You eat your meat, you eat potatoes, you eat your vegetables, and then you got dessert. So desserts, we all had sweet tooth and sweet teeth, sweet tooths.
Sweet tooth sounded right. I know it's wrong, but it sounded right.
Yeah, I like that too. So we'll keep it that, sweet tooths. And those were a lot of the recipes that I had saved, but I had to change them. I had to change them for my own health, because I did not want my family, my daughters, their spouses, my grandkidlets that I call them, but they're all taller than me now. I did not want them to have the memories that I did of my grandparents who passed away when I was 12, 14 years old. And I'm not telling you where I am now, but it was before where I am now. So it's very, very humbling to have been able to put this out there, put my stories out there. And like I said, it was the last part of the book where I really got into the emotion. I actually took the pictures of the dishes, of the recipes and someone asked me, did you put lots of pictures in it? I said, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You cannot do a recipe without pictures. I don't want a recipe book without pictures. So yeah, there's lots of pictures. And when I set them up, I think probably that was another of the emotional kind of down that road that I went, because I used so many props to set those pictures up, and they all had really significant meaning to me. And I could write another book just on the significance. And that's one of the things I realized is that I did not put in the book what each setup was. So I am putting together something for family that are interested of, what it was. My mom and dad's wedding present, my youngest granddaughter's artwork, my eldest daughter's beautiful stained glass. Every picture is way more than just stuff. It is from generations and it's got lots of memories. And I promised myself I wouldn't get mushy today, but that makes me mushy.
Attention, all aspiring authors. Are you ready to turn your book dreams into reality? Look no further than Author Allies, your ultimate companion on the journey to becoming a published author. Picture this: a membership site that offers structure, accountability, skill development, and unwavering support to bring your book ideas to life. That's exactly what Author Allies provides. Dive into weekly writing workshops where you can focus on your goals and stay motivated. Need expert advice? Our monthly Ask the Expert sessions connect you directly with industry professionals for valuable insights. Engage with fellow members through our Beta Reader Switch program, perfect for refining your manuscript before publication. Get access to a list of our verified resources so that when it's time to edit, design, and publish your book, you know where to turn. You can also enhance your craft with our writing training modules, complete the exercises designed to elevate your skills, and participate in the challenges. And as an added bonus, you can enjoy exclusive discounts on our future programs to help you streamline your publishing services. And if you're looking for a little bit more personalized advice, you will have access as a member to our one-on-one coaches to provide tailored support from our experienced professionals. Your literary dreams are within reach within our community of like-minded authors and expert guidance. Visit nextpagepublishing.net to join the membership and create a community around you and your book that guarantees your success. I think, well, you talked about wanting connection, right? And posting recipes on the internet is great, but it doesn't foster connection. And what your book does with the stories and the pictures. I mean, you talk about the pictures and I talk about the pictures that every person I talk to about this book, I'm like, you'll never believe what this little bird means. You'll never believe what this spoon means to her. That's where the connection comes from. That's when the people reach out and go, wow, what an incredible book. Because right from the beginning, this was a legacy item. Not just in the recipes, not just in the modifications, but in the photos, in the feeling, in the sections. You have a section called dessert for breakfast. Like, yes, please, I'm all over that. But that's you. That's your personality, right? Like I saw that in Mexico in the granola that you were bringing out for us and all of these amazing dishes that felt good because they were good for us. And then they tasted good because they were delicious. And that's just you through and through.
And it was so much fun when the granola got grabbed when the table was getting cleaned away. Nope. That's my granola. Okay.
Yeah. Another one of our authors, she was ready to throw down. Like, don't take her granola. Like that was hers. But that's the book, right? Because she knew it was healthy for her. She was gluten-free and dairy-free. And finally she had a food that she could eat and enjoy and fueled her. She's an ultra marathoner. So it fueled her body. And I get why she was ready to wrestle the waiter down. So take it. That's unique. And you and I and the group had talked about our marketing strategy and how much that your book is not just good for the families, for the moms, for the dads that are trying to feed their kids, with the people with food allergies and sensitivities, but it's also good for the athletes, for the endurance people that also have sensitivities and are really struggling to feed their bodies with something that's going to sustain them. I mean, your book is amazing for that.
I needed to increase my energies because, 12 years ago, it was like, okay, what more is this fibromyalgia going to, show me or test me with? And I don't think it's finished yet. And as we age, I know I had to say that, but as we age, our bodies change.
Mm-hmm.
Our daily stressors are different. You have a young one at home, and you have businesses, and you have a relationship, and you have friends, and you have family, and you have all of these things like many of us do. And then at my stage, well, I don't have the young ones at home, but I had the young ones at home. And honestly, one of my daughters told me that after I had been working on increasing my energies and so forth, that I had more energy than I did when I was younger. Well, yeah, I did. And whether you're a marathoner or whether you are, sitting at a desk, you have, I will not say you have to, looking after ourselves is priority number one.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt I was doing that, but it was always for family. It was always for looking after my little family, on my own mostly, but looking after my family. And they say, there's a saying, you wish you had the wisdom then and the knowledge then that you have now. Well, yeah, I look back, and looking back isn't a great idea either. But those experiences going ahead are invaluable, absolutely invaluable. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So I think
that's what I love about you. And I've thought this basically from day one. And I was actually saying it to my husband the other day, that what I love about you, Elaine, is that how coachable you are, not in a sense of like me coaching you, but just like life coachable. Like you learn, and you've always had the priority straight. It's the relationships. And I want to extend that from like relationships with your family, with me, with your friends, with your community, because you're huge. You're active in your community. You go to shows and you show up and you're at conferences, and you create little cooking groups, but it's your relationship with food as well. And because it is a relationship, and I think I could learn a lot from you in that sense of what I fuel my body is fueling the relationship with myself. And I see that with you, and I see that with your book over and over again. It's nurturing the relationship that you have with food so that you can nurture the relationship you have with yourself. And that is, if I used anything to describe you, I'd say you're the queen of that relationship with self and the coaching that life has given you. I mean, I don't think I've met anyone more receptive to life coaching than you. And I see that so beautifully.
Well, I have to confess that I've made stupid mistakes, relationship mistakes. Everything has not been successful that I've touched. There have been many faux pas, failures, whatever you want to call them. It's part of life. And I've kicked myself around the block more than anybody can ever say, hey, you did this or you did that. There's nobody that's, I don't want to use the word punished, but it has really had to sit back and reflect more than myself, or feel bad about something. And besides that, I started asking, what do I have to learn from this? Because I deal with mental health issues with the fibromyalgia, and I question myself a lot, even today.
Yeah. But I think you had a choice at some point. You could be the victim, or you could choose to take control. And you chose to take control. And it shows up in so many ways. And in your book, like you had stories, some stories, unfortunately, we didn't even publish. The one that keeps coming to my mind is I Love Rocks. And you had this wonderful story about going on a trip. And I think that actually did make it into the book.
It's in there.
Yeah, that one made it in. And it was looking at what could be hard for us and turning it into something that's a beautiful lesson and something that we can learn to love and learn to work with instead of fight against. And that it comes through in your book, it comes through in your coaching, in your communities that you've created. You walk the talk 100%.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, 98%. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So let's say 98.
No, don't pin that on me. That is just too hard, and that's too far to fall.
My bar is very high for you because I know you've risen up to it high, over and over and over again. And what publisher wouldn't set the bar high, right?
I'll get one of my stools over there and sit on that. But yeah, man, it's hard when you fall off from it. I'll tell you, that is a life's lesson that I've had to learn, Penny.
But the landing is softer when you ask, what can I learn?
And having people out there, having friends like you, having mentors out there that, I can say, hey, this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I need some guidance. Yeah, I've been getting hugs.
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting hugs sitting here talking with you.
Good. Yeah. I have goosebumps too. Almost every time we talk I get goosebumps. Somebody else is with us. Somebody else is bringing their energy in. And that right from day one, that's what you and I had.
That blasted the heck out of me talking to you that first time. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. And it's the obvious yes, right? Like this needs to happen. And it needed to happen for me as much as it needed to happen for you, because you were the first cookbook that we published, and it was an honor, and it was a learning curve, and it was beautiful. And I was hungry 90% of the time, which was very interesting. I was so glad to actually get the cookbook printed out so that I could start cooking it. And one of the first recipes I made was, I'm going to get the name wrong, so you can correct me, but it was the chocolate coconut balls.
The donut holes.
Oh my gosh, so good. My whole family, I think I had like I don't know, 20% of it. And then I turned around and it was gone. So yes, kidlit approved, husband approved. It was wonderful. Surprisingly, we are at the end of time. I knew this would happen. So I'm going to ask you two of my favorite questions. One is, how do we get in touch with you? Of course, I'm going to put the link to your book in the show notes, obviously, but how else can people reach out to you?
You can find me on Facebook, Elaine Cooper, your Better Living Coach. I also have YBLC Wellness Group, so it's all listed there. Get Up and Grow. Oh, of course, throw a little bit of French in there, and you can see all of the pages. Yes, I have several pages, gardening pages, and then my coaching, and then my own personal page. So it's all off my personal page, Elaine Cooper, your Better Living Coach, as well as, Instagram and LinkedIn. Yeah, just Google me.
Yeah, Google me. And we're going to make sure to put all those links in there because she's worth following. She does lots of live cooking sessions. She does lots of events and things like that. So it's definitely, if you are in the market for creative and easy food that tastes good and fuels your body, then you're definitely going to check out any of those channels. And then my last question, Elaine, you're going to love this one. What advice do you have for aspiring authors?
You'll know when the time is right. And I highly recommend working here with Next Page Publishing with Larissa. Honestly, my first experiencing publishing a book was not anywhere near because this is my second book. I have a children's book too. It wasn't anything like the guidance and the support that I got with you. So that is and just, stop judging yourself so much. Just take, and when you have a thought, write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Or voice text it to your phone. That's what they're there for.
Yes. I'm going to share one really quick story. I have 12 musing journals. They're all over my house. They're everywhere. But sometimes when I'm out and about, I forget my journal. And my daughter has gotten accustomed to me writing on my arms and my hands to keep the note, because sometimes I don't have my phone either, trying to disconnect from technology. But she says she's my musing journal, so she'll let me write the notes on her arm and things like that, because creativity, it's everywhere, it's abundant. And you just have to have the confidence and to just chase it. Just go after that dream, do that thing. And you're right. You'll know when it's right. Even if you spend the next 10 years collecting your dreams and your notes and your things, at some point it's going to be like, okay, hard line in the sand. It's time to actually do it now. Yeah.
May I just pop something quickly?
Absolutely.
That musing journal that you gave us?
Yes.
Okay. So it didn't mean a thing to me when I was in Mexico. I didn't, nope. I stuck your sticker on the front and I just put it in my stuff. Well, I have been getting major nods, major nudges, it's like, where is this coming from? So at another time, we'll talk about that. But I have started writing in that very specifically Yeah.
That's amazing. Good. Yes. It's called The Musings of a Mad Woman, and it embodies my whole soul. It embodies every woman that I come across. We all have a little bit of a mad woman inside of us, because that's what makes us geniuses. That's what makes us good at what we do and passionate at what we do. So I'm glad that you're finding some spark. That's great.
I did. I had no inclination of doing another recipe book or, children's book. This isn't a children's book.
Ooh, I'm excited. Okay. Thank you very much, Elaine. We're going to make sure to put all of your links down in the show notes so that you can get the book. We'll put the children's book in there as well, because it's also very good. I have a copy of that one. And we'll put the groups in there, and you can reach out to Elaine, follow along for her cooking adventures, get her book, and introduce your family to what healthy and delicious eating it can really be like. And Cooking Through the Chaos is the embodiment of that. So thank you for everything that you've done and that you continue to do.
Thank you so much. And I want to hear from people. I mean, I would just be so honored to say, hey, what did you do with that recipe? Like, how did it work out for you? Like you were just saying, you didn't get too many of them because of the rest of the family. I want to hear those things.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the connection, right? That's what we want. The invitation to connect with us and share our stories and share our pictures and go into her Facebook group and post photos of you cooking her recipes, because that's so cool. That's for an author to see that. That's so cool. Excellent. Thank you so much, Elaine. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of I Wrote That. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to our show so you don't miss any of our upcoming guests. And if this has led you to some inspiration to want to get started on your own authorship journey, whether you just have an idea or you have a manuscript that you're ready to publish, reach out to us at nextpagepublishing.net, and we will match you up with our team of experts to make the journey simple, easy, and smooth.